With the score 17-14 in favor of the Dallas Cowboys, it is halftime of Eagles-Cowboys Week 9 matchup in South Philadelphia. Marc Farzetta along with you from the incredible Ocean Casino Gallery Bar, Book, and Games. And yes, I'm with you. We all have a moment of panic here as Jalen Hurts was tending to that knee after being sacked yet again by Micah Parsons, and what looked like the left knee of Dexter Lawrence hitting him in that left knee. So we'll all have a pause as we wait for some more information. We'll keep you abreast of the situation as things unfold here at halftime with, once again, the Eagles trailing by 3 at the half. Bill Colarulo joining us here from Legal Hands to the Face podcast, as well as the Philly Sports Power Hour here on the JAKIB Media Sports Channel, and Kayla Santiago joining us as well. First off, Bill, I'll start with you. A little bit of panic setting in right now, not in regards to the game, but necessarily more so the quarterback, his health in general. You saw what went down on that last play.
Yeah, obviously, we're all concerned about Jalen Hurts. I mean, the good news is he did come back in. They didn't do much, just gave the handoff to Kenny Gainwell. He was jogging off the field. It was gingerly, but he was jogging off the field. Let's hope it was just a pain thing and it's not anything more serious, but we're going to find out soon enough. Hopefully he comes out. Eagles get the ball to start the half. So,
Kayla, this is one of the instances that people say, oh, go before the halftime. You're getting the ball back anywhere. You don't rush anything. You don't want to risk an injury. The Eagles had a minute and 15 seconds left to go in that first half. They also had 3 timeouts. They've done more with less amount of time. The Rams game, for instance, they came back, were able to get a touchdown before that half as well. So this is an instance where Nick Sirianni is just doing what Nick Sirianni does anyway.
No, I absolutely love that call as well because you want to try to get in field goal position. You know that Jake Elliott can bomb one absolutely through if he needed to be. Jalen Hurts, though, in that end, that's just an unfortunate thing to happen. We haven't really seen that happen that bad so far this year. We still don't really know what's going on with the knee, but now we definitely know that something's up. We just hope that he's okay to come back in the second half. And they get the ball first, so guess what? If they try to score and they don't, it's totally okay if they can get the ball back first off.
No question he's getting looked at right now. We saw him go into the locker room before that first half was even over. Let's go to Lincoln Financial Field right now and talk to our man on the scene, John McMullen. John, first, your reaction to seeing Jalen Hurts go down in that manner, and have you heard anything in the brief amount of time that has passed since the injury was sustained?
No, a little bit too brief, as you mentioned. Scary moment at the time, but obviously he didn't leave the game. Now, the Eagles kind of conceded on that 3rd and 14, ran the football. So kind of tough to tell. Looked like he got stepped on. I don't know if it's related to the knee completely, but we'll have to see as he comes out after halftime. Obviously, it's a big concern. Also, Nakobe Dean left early for the locker room, so he's banged up as well. Nick Morrow was in the game to sort of finish things up in the first half. So a couple concerning injuries as you head towards halftime. But obviously Jalen Hurts, I mean, yeah, that's the biggest one. And he seemed fine just from the naked eye when he was walking back to the huddle. But obviously something to keep an eye on.
John, anything surprising you in that first half? I mean, we knew both teams were good on 3rd down. We saw more of that in the first half. The one thing is both teams weren't great in the red zone, but both are 2 for 2. But is anything else surprising you? I kind of expected a battle, and that's what we're getting.
No, these are 2 really good teams, 17-14 Dallas at the half. I don't think anything's jumped out. The Eagles have obviously struggled in the middle of the field. That's what we expected. When they can get C.D. Lamb kind of on Eli Ricks, they've worked a couple times. Jace Ferguson also had a huge first half, the Cowboys tight end, in the middle of the field. So that's been a concern for the Eagles the entire, really, season. And that's their biggest concern. And other than that, I mean, the Cowboys have had trouble getting the ball outside the numbers. For the Eagles, A.J. Brown, always open, 5 targets, 5 receptions. Look for him to go more in that direction. I would say, you know, the Eagles haven't run a ton of plays because the Cowboys have had some good drives as well. So you're only talking about 13 throws for Jalen Hurts in the first half. And you have, you know, 17 run plays. So typically we talk about that in the pregame show with Seth a lot. Certainly balance, but I don't know if that's the balance they kind of want. Not as effective running the football without the threat of Jalen Hurts. I think they got to start stressing Dallas on the back end. Dallas Goedert only had that 1 reception, big 4th down conversion. Devontae Smith, only 1 reception, only 1 target. I think you got to get those guys more involved.
And staying with the offense here, John, I want to talk about the line a little bit. Micah Parsons kind of having his way right now, 5 total tackles, 1.5 sacks as well. But you go into the second half, knowing that Jalen might be a little bit banged up, what do you want to see from this offensive line right out of the gate in the second half?
Yeah, the Eagles don't like to help a lot in protection. They run probably more empty sets than anybody else in the NFL, but this is one where you might have to give a little bit more attention to the Cowboys pass rush, which is very good. It's very disciplined. You even saw Williams, who's a very young player, is very athletic. Dorrance Armstrong is a very good pass rusher. So they can come at you in multiple ways. Haven't even, mentioned what they can do with DeMarcus Lawrence and everybody else. So it's a very good defense, especially in the front seven. You need to make sure especially with a quarterback who's banged up, you need to make sure the protection's all the P's and Q's. The problem is, from Nick Sirianni's standpoint, typically, and that's the luxury, and Brian Johnson as well, the luxury for this offensive staff, typically they look at Jordan Mailata and they say, all right, you're on an island, Lane Johnson, you're on an island, and they don't help those guys at all. Maybe a chip here and there wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Certainly, John. The other thing on top of that is it looked like for a while Darius Slay was starting to follow around CeeDee Lamb. Did you notice that in the first half? And also, do you think that's going to be something they're sticking with in that second half?
A little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a full-time thing because, remember, when you travel a corner with a receiver, you're affecting everybody else on the back end. And one of the problems with the Eagles and all the zone coverage they run is the communication, all the new bodies. We talked about, Eli Ricks is in, he's out, he's in. Sidney Brown, they're piecemealing it. Reed Blankenship was hurt, he's back in. Kevin Byard was in Tennessee, and now he's here. So you have all these new faces or guys who've been in and out of the lineup, and that affects the communication. So I don't know if you could just point to Darius Slay and say, go follow CeeDee Lamb, because it affects everybody else on the back end as well.
Awesome, John. Thank you so much for joining us from Lincoln Financial Field. We'll be talking to you again on the Pond Hockey post-game show with Mike Missinelli, Seth Joyner, Bill, and Kayla as well. Thanks so much, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
One of the things that I did notice looking at that first half is they did have Eli Ricks on CeeDee Lamb originally, and then Eli Ricks proceeded to get turned around a couple of different times there, and then we saw Darius Slay start to follow him around. A couple of plays were broken up, but unfortunately Slay not able to get the better of CeeDee Lamb throughout that first half. Is it something you would do, Bill, to keep Slay on Lamb in that second half, or we continue to move guys in, give him different looks?
If I'm Sean Desai, I'm putting Slay on him as much as possible. I don't want to disrupt my entire defense by having him follow him all over the field, but when possible, I'd put Slay on him. What I've been really disappointed with is not Eli Ricks. It's Kevin Byard and Reed Blankenship. I don't think they've played very well. I gave them the benefit of the doubt last week against the Washington Commanders. Reed was coming back from injury. Byard just got here. But now we're seeing it a second week in a row. Those guys have to play better in the second half if this Eagles team has a shot to win this football game.
Yeah, 4 catches right now for CeeDee Lamb on 7 targets, 78 yards tallied up by CeeDee Lamb. Kayla, what do you need to see from this Eagles team in the second half to see them have success?
Sean Desai has been really good at making halftime adjustments throughout this season. I think that he's going to do the exact same thing. Not that I think he will, but I think he absolutely needs to. I do like keeping Slay on CeeDee Lamb. I mean, those are the guys that have to go at it. And Darius Slay, he needs to step up a little bit. Game after game after game, he's been the veteran on this team, and we've seen him make mistakes that we really didn't see a season ago. I need Darius Slay to step up just a little bit. And that defensive line as well is a little bit of a worry. Jordan Davis a little bit banged up. Hassan Reddick on the edge a little bit banged up too. Hopefully those guys are okay, but I think they need to get a little bit more pressure to Dak Prescott. They definitely have the personnel. Davis has been double-teamed a lot. Let's see if Sean Desai can try to mix it a little bit around.
Absolutely. 13 plays, 77 yards on that first drive for the Eagles, lasting 7 minutes and 51 seconds, including 2 fourth-down conversions. A tush-push involved as well, a brotherly shove, if you will, and Goddard on an out route, converting it to help the Eagles get some momentum there in the very early goings of that game. I think you're going to need to see a little bit more aggression as this game continues. And, Bill, one of the things we talked about in pregame was the fact that we knew this was going to be a dogfight.
this is what we expected. We knew this was going to be a tough game, and we knew that this Dallas defense was an opportunistic defense when it came to causing turnovers. Eagles got to protect the football. We saw the ball on the ground twice in the first half. We were very lucky to jump on top of it. Eagles have to make sure they protect the ball, and they got to stop committing penalties. 5 penalties in the first half for the Eagles, only 2 for the Dallas Cowboys. But we don't need to hit the panic button. This is what we thought. We knew it was going to be a dogfight. They're only down 3. They're getting the ball to start the half. Let's hope Jalen Hurts is healthy, but protect the football in the second half and stop committing penalties.
All right, last thing I'm seeing from Inquirer writer Jeff McMullen, Jalen Hurts jogging out of the tunnel after halftime. He's the last Eagles player to do so. So we'll see how he fares in the second half. For Kayla, Santiago, Bill Colarulo, I'm Marc Farzetta. We'll be back with you guys for the Pond Hockey post-game show, hopefully after an Eagles victory. See you then.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.
Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
Some say courage is something you're born with. Others say courage is something you find. In every generation throughout history, courage has been celebrated, sought after, needed. It holds the potential for a life of impact. But what if courage isn't just something you hope for or stumble upon? What if courage is something that can be shaped at a place that inspires you, where leaders invest in you, your community believes in you, and your life becomes something bigger than it could ever be alone?
EAGLES, Eagles.